Let's go. So this is a fun matchup. We're going right into turn one here with the Pegasus being played on turn one. One of the things about this matchup is if you play any Lorcana deck competitively, you are very familiar with the Ruby Amethyst matchup, and so this is a matchup that we see that Heesung has probably seen over and over again, and it's a matchup personally that I like as an Emerald Amethyst player.
Absolutely, I can see that. This sort of Emerald Amethyst is a bit more snappy, a bit quick on the thing. So it's up to kind of Sumin to like keep track and kind of keep that on hand. I'm looking.
I think we see that's a brawl. I don't see the Flint Rider frenemy. I don't think we do have the Sisu there, but no answer immediately for that evasive Pegasus, which Heesung will be able to quest with for at least this turn.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not sure entirely what Sumin's running. If she has any evasive in there, possibly, most likely not. So we'll see how she gets to contend with that little baby that can become kind of a big thing.
little baby Pegasus. I love it so much. This is a card that is unconditionally invasive, unlike the Pascal that we used to see run.
Right.
And so I talked about last match the kind of game plan for these Emerald Amethyst deck. I really think of this as a two-phase game. Phase one is get as much lore as possible early, and you do that with evasive characters, and you do that sometimes with high lore early game characters like Cursed Merfolk, sometimes Flynn Rider, and then even a Jacques on turn 3, which is a 2-lore character. Now, we do have Peter Pan Shadowhunter, I believe, there. This is another evasive card, evasive and rush card. So Heesung now with 2 lore worth of evasive characters on the board that Sumin is going to have to find an answer for, or Heesung is going to continue to drive his lore count in the early game here.
Absolutely. Seeing these 2 evasive on board, it's absolutely something that Sumin's going to have to deal with pretty quickly because these can absolutely set the tone of the match. I mean, if Sumin's not able to interact with them, there's really not much she can do to stop them.
Here we are, singing Friends from the Other Side. Peter Pan Shadow there, giving him a couple or 2 more cards. The play draw dynamic here is really interesting in this matchup to me because I think both these decks in this current meta want to be aggressive in the early game.
Yes.
So Heesung right now is trying to be the one that is forcing Sumin to respond. Because if Sumin has the right opening hand with Flynn Rider Frenemy and with the Sisu Emboldened Warrior there, Sumin can really drive her lore total and force Heesung into kind of a more of an offensive role as far as board control goes. But here, driving the lore total and forcing Sumin into the response.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely kind of sort of playing on the back foot there. We have the Madam Snake and the Sisu. I'm interested to see what Sumin's plan might be evolving into now that she hasn't gotten that kind of strong start with the Flynn Rider.
Right. It's really the evasive cards that are challenged here.
Yeah, those are absolutely going to be a problem. And like you were saying, this Emerald Amethyst is very aggressive early on, and so it's going to be able to really push forward, and they tend to might fall off a little bit towards the end, and potentially the Amethyst Ruby can kind of hop into that with castles and these bigger cards to be able to do some real damage and get a lot of lore on the board.
It's true. We did see a Brawl go into the Inkwell there. Brawl, a card that could have been used to deal with either of these evasive characters. Instead, going into the Inkwell and choosing to play a Rabbit instead.
I'm wondering if Sumin has a different plan for her evasive opponents in that case.
I think, Sumin is probably thinking about, we're drawing into more cards, trying to build a card advantage in the mid-game. That's what Amethyst always wants to do. And perhaps trying to force a scenario where there's enough lore on the board that she can start driving her lore total. And here we're questing out, it looks like. 3 lore, moving up to 6. Yeah, so definitely, Heesung is definitely doing, what we talked about, trying to push the lore total, get up as high as possible. We have
another
evasive character come down with Sir Hiss.
Oh, nice. And because of Peter Pan's ability, all evasive characters do get rushed, so he can go right in there and immediately take out that Madam Mim Snake. Madam Mim Fox coming down, taking out the Sisu, and that board is pretty effectively dealt with.
And quest for 2 lore.
Yeah.
Ah, man, this is just driving the lore a little bit at a time. Those evasives doing work. Pegasus now, I think has gotten what 4 or 5 lore out of it. So
Absolutely.
yeah, this is exactly the plan. I do really like this matchup as an Emerald Amethyst player. I kind of know how to play it, and I think even one of the reasons I think about this as a two-phase game is anytime we're playing a Ruby deck or any sort of serious control deck, you have to kind of expect to lose control of the board eventually. Your opponent has Be Prepared available. When they get to turn 6, they start dropping some of their removal options, like the ladies in chairs. When you get to turn 7, Be Prepared is an option. And so you can plan for it, you can play around it. And here's an interesting mid-game play. We do have the Frenemy come down, which is going to pair well with that Fox.
Absolutely. Yeah, great in the opening. Further on in the game, but kind of more situational. You either kind of wait to see if you have it, and if not, Flynn becomes ink at that point.
That is true. So Suman here now forcing Heesung to think about that frenemy or risk giving up quite a bit of lore. Now Heesung did have an answer for that Fox. There was a goat in hand that Heesung could have played to force that Fox from going off, but instead we're going to trade the Pegasus into the Fox, sitting there with 2 damage on it, making it vulnerable, and then playing, going aggressive here.
Yes, this is a very wide and dangerous board at this point. Those cursed merfolk, their ability to quest for 2 is creates a problem very quickly that must be dealt with.
Absolutely. Be Prepared is an option, not this turn, but the next turn. But I do think this is a scenario where Heesung is indicating, and I think it's clearly evident, I think it's the right call, that he'd be more than happy to get 5 lore off of this turn, off those merfolk and another character, going up to 13 lore. That's really where you want to be going into the late game. And so even if they're removed, I think Heesung is in a good position.
Absolutely. It's just so aggressive. And with those evasives, he's just been able to really, really keep a really nice presence on this board. And Subin's doing a lot of catch up. I'm interested to see. I feel like she's probably waiting for the Be Prepared at this point, because I don't know if she'll be able to deal with all of these turn by turn.
That's probably a card that as we drew the rabbits, she was hoping to draw into. And yeah, it seems like no other answer. So they're going to have 6 lore on the board there available for Heesung. And we'll see if he chooses to drop any more threats on the board, knowing that a Be Prepared is
He'll find out.
That's true. So this is a classic example of timing your Ursula Deceiver properly. It's no accident that Heesung is playing this card the turn before Suman's able to play Be Prepared, hoping to pick it. If she has it, it's not there. But at the very least, we'll get some information now. And now able to make the decision about whether he wants to go wide even more here and really try to end the game, or play more conservatively.
Absolutely. Vital intel he just received, where he's like, yes, I'm good to go. It's not going to be next turn, or unless she draws it. But it's pretty nice bet. And then playing the Merlin Goat, unless this is it with the Be Prepared, I don't think that we can clear this board the way it needs to be cleared to get out of this.
No, it's a tough spot. I mean, we could top deck. Did we draw already? Did I miss that? Oh, okay. So didn't top deck to Be Prepared. We've seen crazier things happen, but a little bit of removal available there. You can challenge a couple things, so we can certainly buy some time. But this is a really tough spot.
Absolutely. I'm doing the mental math. Are you as well? Trying to see what we could play, what can challenge at this point. So I'm interested.
Yeah, you can definitely get 3 challenges here. There's a couple rush characters, or you could play the Madame Medusa. I think the right play, though, if you want to or I wouldn't say the right play. There's so many different options. But one play would be to challenge with the rabbit, take out one of those merfolk, and then leverage the fox to draw another card. Instead, we're going to Madame Medusa the rabbit. We're going to double challenge here, take out the merfolk, which leaves 3 lore on the board, and the goat representing 1 more when it's removed. So from a scary board down to something a little bit more manageable.
Much more manageable, for sure. No, that was really well done. Seaman definitely looked at all of her options, decided the best way she wanted to tackle this, and cut that board in half.
That's true. So only 3 lore showing. Still a tough spot. This is definitely where Heesung wants to be, but able to buy another couple turns here.
Yeah. Looking at his hand, he's questing, starting with the quest, which is, I wonder, going to put another Pegasus down, another little evasive there, which does have rush with the Peter Pan, but I mean, he's just a baby. He's not ready for that.
Yeah, definitely a choice here not to overextend. I think Heesung was thinking, okay, if Sumin draws the be prepared, I need to be prepared. And when you look at the math here, if Sumin hasn't seen a be prepared yet with the number of cards we've gone through and 4 be prepareds in the deck, Heesung knows that the odds of drawing one here are getting better and better every single turn.
Absolutely.
They're not low. There we are with the Madame Medusa challenging into the goat. And then double challenge into... No, just single challenge into the Ursula. Nope, double challenge into the Ursula.
Okay, good deal. Lady Tremaine coming out forces opponent to choose a card to banish, which...
Poor Pegasus.
Yeah, he tried. He did his best.
One of the 2 primary ladies in chairs here. Lady Tremaine worked her way out of favor for a little while, but one of the things that gives her an edge on Madame Medusa is she has 2 lore rather than 1. So now a card that can drive Sumin's lore total a bit higher if she wants to, but just too much for Sumin to overcome there once you get that close to the top. And looks like a scoop and a victory in game 1 for the Emerald Amethyst player.
Yeah, that was a really interesting match. I wasn't sure exactly how things were going to go. It's like really strong starts kind of on both sides. So it was interesting to see. But that evasive, it was just carried away, really.
There are some answers, but yeah, I mean, this is a textbook way to play Ruby Amethyst here, and the Ruby Amethyst player it didn't play poorly at all, and had some of the cards, but that they needed, but just driving that lore total early, getting those evasive characters, and then waiting for timing the moments, the opportunities in the mid game. Very deliberately choosing to drop those Tomb Merfolk at the perfect time to get some extra lore, timing the Deceiver at the right time to be able to pick that be prepared. It was just a textbook example of how to play this matchup.
Yeah, definitely knew what he was doing in there. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I'm excited to see game 2.
Me too.
Oh, so it looks like we are, have we altered hands already? Nope, we're altering hands now.
Yes. And Sumin will be on the play this time.
That is true. So this changes the dynamic of this a little bit because if Sumin is able to take her aggressive line with a first turn play, perhaps Chernobog followers, followed by a frenemy, followed by a Sisu, Heesung could go an aggressive line as well with Cursed Merfolk and hope to drive the lore total high enough that Sumin has to respond. But Sumin could be the aggressor in this match. And so Heesung is thinking, what do I need to alter my hand into in order to answer that early aggressive line from Sumin, because we could see a complete role reversal here if the hands are drawn the right way.
Absolutely, and Heesung has a lot of really good early aggressive options. So it'll be interesting who is able to, kind of put what's stronger can come out.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, some cards Heesung's definitely looking for here. He wants to try to have a high strength character on turn 2 if possible.
Right.
On the off chance the Sisu isn't there, you want perhaps a snake or even a Sir Hiss to prevent that frenemy from activating. Yes. We do have the Sisu.
I see the Sisu. I'm looking for Flynn.
And Chernobog's followers in turn 1. I think that's the ideal first turn play here.
Yeah, excellent. Ooh, big Ursula. Being ink, but fun to see her.
Yeah, it is, even if only for a brief moment.
For sure. Chernobog v. Chernobog's followers. Sumin questing with her is choosing not to banish it at this point.
Now we're going to need it for this snake.
Gotta bounce it. Beautiful. Yes, that Madame snake with the 3/3 is a very, very nice 2 drop.
Yeah, so he's saying definitely a little bit more conservative line here. We're going to take a look. The only card available is Friends from the Other Side. Has to pick a song. So he's trying to take full inventory there and trying to remember what's in Sumin's hand.
Absolutely. And Friends on the Other Side, sad to see go. There's some great card draw on there. But, I mean, Sumin in hand has the Maleficent and Merlin Rabbit. So some extra card draw there as well.
And drawing into the Friends.
One.
Oh, goodness.
She's good.
No, I mean, this this is a great spot for Sumin to be in. So Sumin did not get her aggressive opening, but because Heesung's planning on that aggressive opening being there, didn't take the aggressive line himself, Sumin has managed to get a couple cards on the board, which are very well statted, able to deal with Heesung questing with anything other than evasive characters. But importantly, if you look at Sumin's hand size, down to 3 cards, I believe, but all of those cards are cards that will get Sumin extra cards while, at least in the case of 2 of the cards, developing the board. So Sumin now is well set up for the mid game to use Maleficent and then the Rabbit friends from the other side to recharge her hand to propel her into the end game. And so not a bad position to be in.
Really interesting you talking about how Heesung was preparing for something that didn't actually happen. So it's like, your opponent's deck it's almost like, I'm not going to say it's a detriment, but it's like you wait and see, like, I guess I can't play this. And then you never know if you actually could.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. Here, Sisu here choosing not to quest and instead singing that friend from the other side.
And we do have the Flynn Rider, and Heesung currently has nothing on
Oh,
board.
what a choice here. Yeah, no, definitely. You could either play the Rabbit, draw some cards, but definitely a great play here to play Frenemy paired with that Sisu. Now Heesung has to figure out how to deal with one of those cards.
Yeah, because he has
Many.
six cards in hand.
Lots
probably
of cards.
We'll use some, but I'm looking at his hand. I don't see anything that could.
No, I mean, the Fox is a great answer for Sisu, but unfortunately you need something small to bounce, so you'd have to pair the Fox for the 1-drop, and I don't see that. Deceiver of All, I see on the top there. Fun card, not much use here, but it's worth mentioning because I do think it's worked its way out of favor in some of these decks, so it's nice to see it run here. But again, not a card that's going to do much work here. But here, the frenemy is going to see Sisu at the start of the turn, give 3 lore to Sumin, and here we see that aggressive roll that we were talking about for this Ruby Amethyst deck.
For sure. But Sumin top decking a Queen's Castle, which is a really nice card to have right now. And she's able to move a character over to that as well and quest with Sisu. But now that Flynn Rider has taken up residence in the Queen's Castle, true queen that he is, Sumin will be able to draw a card with him on our next turn.
Flynn Rider is definitely there for shenanigans.
Yeah.
Flynn Rider frenemy never goes into a castle without being there for some nefarious purpose.
Absolutely not.
Taking the magic mirror off the wall or something.
Yeah.
No, just a fantastic top deck. I mean, there's not a lot of answers for Queen's Castle in the Emerald Amethyst deck. You usually have to use a couple cards, for example, pairing a crab with a fox. That is a line which very efficiently moves the Queen's Castle, but not enough ink right here and not one of those key cards, which is the crab. So
it looks like we're starting to dink away at it. Little by little.
That is true. I do see the fox in hand, so perhaps we're going to see the fox played to bounce the rabbit and then do some more damage to the castle. But Heesung definitely in full defense here.
Yeah, for sure. That castle is a lot. But yeah, exactly what you said. Bouncing it back. Bim Fox out, assuming that she will also try to take a chunk out of that.
It's possible. I do think, I have to remember what's in the hand. No, I wondered if we'd see the Fox challenge into the Sisu to remove that two-lore character.
Yeah.
And if Heesung had another card to match the Flynn strength-wise, we don't. Instead, we're going to see 3 lore worth of character on the board. And now Heesung, I think, making a choice about whether to remove the Sisu or doing extra damage to the castle.
Yes. And though these more aggressive cards like the Cursed Merfolk do have a lot of lore to give, not great at attacking castles or Sisus.
No, or anything for that matter.
Right.
But a threatening card here for 2 reasons. One reason is the lore, but to remove it, Sumin challenging into it has to discard one of the 2 cards in hand.
Yes.
One of the reasons this is challenging here, and you need to get the rabbit and draw engine going in the mid game, is because your end game, of course, drawing 2 cards off the castle there, which is nice. Your end game cards, your Be Prepareds and your Ladies and Chairs require you to have 6-7 ink in hand, and so you have to have enough to be able to ink while maintaining those. Getting that extra card off the castle, though, very, very nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Having that card draw in this Ruby Amethyst deck, keeping you in the resources you need to, keep control of the board.
Yes, and now Sumin definitely in the driver's seat, having gotten another 3 lore off the front of me. We have 2 lore off the castle. We have another 2 lore we can get with Sisu this turn. And yeah, Heesung really, really has to play offense here.
Yeah. I'm interested to see what he chooses to play. I see he has a Jacques there. I have not seen Jacques very much.
Jacques, what a fun little card. It definitely has a home in this deck. It does two things for it. One, giving one of your opponent's characters reckless so they can't quest a particular turn. But then also it has 2 lore. So in a game where you're the aggressor, getting a 1/4 with 2 lore on the board feels really nice.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, perfect home in this. And we have a Sir Hiss. Again, we still have Sisu on board. The castle has a good bit of damage on it, but Flynn's still surviving.
Yeah. So Jacques, a fun line with Jacques here. Frenemy is clearly happy to sit in the castle and draw cards and pilfer the magic mirror and get 3 lore a turn. So perhaps making or giving Flynn reckless there, so he's guaranteed to be not exerted. Well, now you need a challengeable target there. Yeah, no, it's. I take it back. I take it back. Yeah, no. So, gosh, I'm just trying to think of outs here for Heesung, and there's a few. There's things that can delay it, but it's a tough spot to be in.
Absolutely. I'm with Flynn Rider. If he is only the character on that side, crazy that he could still be the strongest boy on board.
That's true. Flynn Rider sees himself. And so we do see the Jacques come down. It's going to give Reckless to Sisu there. Sisu won't be able to quest and has to challenge if able. And then the evasive Sir Hiss. So again, Heesung just playing to outs here. But now, so an interesting note here. Let's take, how many cards in Heesung's hand? 1, 2. Oh, we still have enough to overpower the Sir Hiss, I think.
I do like this move here because when Sisu is forced to attack, it has to attack the cursed merfolk, forcing Suman to discard a card, which that's fun.
That is true. That is true. And gosh, but some fun cards Suman has an answer. We do have another frenemy. We could rely on those to close out the game.
Yes.
Rabbits to draw. We could brawl. So some options.
Yeah, and for every turn that Suman takes to kind of creep towards, Heesung is able to play pretty wide and have those small but mighty multi-lure cards.
Yeah, it is just a challenge here. You know, I mentioned before it is a 2-phase game, and critical to phase 1 in this game is getting above 10 lore. And that really puts you in striking distance for the Emerald Amethyst player. The problem is, one of the reasons I call this phase 2 is when Be Prepared comes online on turn 7. And so you have that big old reset button that Suman has available. So it really prevents you from going wide here.
Yeah. Yeah, you always have that, like, gotta save some stuff in case that happens.
Must be prepared.
Exactly.
Queen's Castle into the Inkwell and a rabbit.
Drawing off of that. And see if we have the Be Prepared.
Yep, taking a peek. This is probably also a scenario, though, where go wide, and if you have it, you have it. If you don't, you don't. But that's enough to close out the game. Frenemy there representing just unable to get around that Sisu. So Frenemy representing